gotten a review by a supervisor, a spouse, a fellow Toastmaster that inspired you? Or one that left you kind of cold or thinking, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to put myself out there again. What I'd like to talk with you about today is how to give an effective evaluation. One that inspires the person you're evaluating to do better next time, but also to do it again. You know, we want that person to feel uplifted. So I'm going to talk with you about how to evaluate the person as you view them, and then how to give them your best evaluation. So when you are going to be an evaluator, you have the speech manual that the speaker is speaking from as a resource, and you have the opportunity to talk with them most times, not today perhaps, but if that person is not volunteering to speak, then you have had the opportunity to speak with that speaker and find out what their personal goals are as well. I, for instance, might say, I want to watch my hand clasping. I might say, I want to make sure that I'm looking at both sides of the room when I'm speaking. So you as the evaluator know maybe my personal goals in addition to what the manual says. Now, for anybody who's kind of newer to Toastmasters, the speech manuals are set up with objectives. That is, the speaker is free to speak about pretty much the subject of their choosing, but the object of their speech may change so that maybe there's an emphasis on the structure of the speech, or maybe there's an emphasis on gestures. So when the speaker gets up, they have objectives that they are trying to accomplish in addition to their personal goals. So ideally, as an evaluator, we keep both those things in mind. But something else I wanted to give to you that I picked up from a Toastmasters magazine a few years back, and I looked in vain to find the magazine. I cannot find it, and I'm sad about it. But I'm going to draw on the board for you a form that I kind of create every time, and I've done it really quickly right here. A form that I create anytime I find out I'm going to be an evaluator. Excuse me one moment. Take any sheet of paper and divide it into thirds. Okay, and if you want to follow along with it. At the top, I'll write content. And that's where my thoughts are about the content of the speech. And here is the delivery. So the content in general is the stuff that happens in advance of the speech, in advance of the meeting. The speaker has decided what they're going to talk about, how they're going to structure their talk. Is it going to have a clear introduction, body, inclusion, grammar and word choices? Actually, one of the speech objectives can be about word choices and grammar, using grammar to your benefit. So those, I might write topic up here. Is it relatable, for instance? Structure, words, word choices. Whatever other content topics I can think of up here. And then a plus and a minus. Kind of divide that in half, okay? This you can scribble out in 5 seconds when you find out you're evaluated. Delivery is the next portion. For delivery, it's funny to me that I'm about to say voice. Sorry, I just had to giggle. But normally things like voice, and that's a broad category, and body is the other broad category. So for voice, we think of volume. Can I hear the person if I was sitting in the back of the room? Pitch. Is it going up and down? Is there interest? Did the person, for instance, not just in terms of pitch, but maybe they're telling a story and the grumpy bear said, and then, can you alter your voice as appropriate for your speech? So body would be things like gestures, Did you rock side to side? Some of those things. Did you clasp your hands? Were your gestures big and meaningful? You know, anything. Visuals is one other part right here. If you used visuals, visual aids, were they clear, or or maybe not? So this is the general structure, and again, it's a plus and a minus. Okay, and then down here is a spot for your own notes. Generally, for myself, I leave this spot open, this last third, until the speaker's done talking. Because at the time that I'm listening to the speech, I might make a few notes. Oh, I really liked that. I liked how their visual was, you know, very viewable to the people in the back of the room. Oh, that was a good gesture. Oh, you know what? I couldn't hear them all the time, so I'm making notes. Voice, I might say, good volume, whatever I want to say here. And then as the speech is going on, speaker's done, you know. Then when you have that time, I like personally to circle the things that I really liked and maybe pick two or three things that I really liked, and I'm going to circle those, and I'm going to plan to talk about those. And then I might pick something that, you know what, body language, I think you can make your gestures bigger, or whatever I would have written there. Say that's my biggest, that would be really good. That one change would make a huge difference in the effectiveness of this talk. So when I have time then, I'm filling in down here a little bit more detail about how I want to structure this. Now about structure, this is my last part for you, my little piece of advice. And this is a technique, I like the name of this, I just learned it a few weeks ago at a conference that I went to with my son for 4-H. But they called it the fluffy bun technique, which is really, really cute. What I like about it, besides it's cute, is here's what they're talking about. Okay? Fluffy bun. Rather than getting up and saying, okay, well, there's definitely some things you need to work on there. Or, yeah, I didn't think anything, you know, it's really hard to find anything that you did at all that I would change. Because we all know there's gotta be something, right? You know, so the fluffy bun has you give some positive things, set the person up with positive comments, cushion it, make it nice, and it's fluffy, it's fun, it's nice. And then you get to the meat of it and you say, now, next time you talk, I think I would really like you to focus on making those gestures bigger because people in the back of the room can understand what you're talking about more effectively. And then at the end you say, but I am really looking forward to hearing you speak again, or when you bring these certain qualities, you raise us all up, or whatever you want to say that's positive. And so you have this sandwich basically with positive comments, little feedback that you've outlined during their talk, and then you end with something positive to inspire that person to get up and do it again next time. So I would encourage you to use the form and the fluffy bun when you give your next evaluation, and I think you'll find that it's a very effective tool. Mr. Toastmaster.